Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, in this video we're going to be continuing our series on the Muddud, the different elongations that happen in the science of Tajweed. So in previous videos we covered what will be elongated only to a haraka, and we covered that there are four different types of Muddud where the med is only going to be two haraka. Now in this video we're going to be covering what will be elongated more than two haraka, which are six different types of Muddud. So there are six different times in the science of Tajweed where you're going to elongate more than two haraka. What are those times? That is what we're going to be covering, inshallah, in this video. So what will be elongated more than two haraka can be broken down into two categories based on what's causing the elongation. So sometimes the elongation is caused by sukun, and then sometimes the elongation is going to be caused by hamza. So in this video, we're going to cover the times when the elongation is caused by a sukun, which are three times: med al-lin, med al-aadil al-sukun, and then med al-lazim. So med al-lin is, for example, was-sayf. And this med, it can be two harakas, or four harakas, or six harakas. And usually people, they do it two or four. Usually people do it two or four. Then we have med al-aadil al-sukun, like al-alim, which again can be two, four, or six, but again, usually people, they do two or four. Then we have al-mad al-lazim, which is, for example, at-tammah. So this one, it needs to be six haraka, and this is the one that comes at the end of Surah Al-Fatiha, غَيْرِ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ. So the reason why it's so long is because that dad there, what's happening to it is med al-lazim. And we're going to cover these three, inshallah: med al-lin, med al-adil al-sukun, and med al-lazim, inshallah. So starting off with al-med al-arid al-sukun, there are two things we need. There are two conditions that need to be met in order for this to happen. The first one is that there needs to be a harf med. And a harf med is, as we covered before, a waw or a alif or a ya that has sukun on it, and it's preceded with a letter with its corresponding haraka. We covered this in a separate video. So that's the first condition. You have a harf med. Then what do you have? That harf med is followed by a sukun which is only present due to stopping. That harf med is followed by a sukun, yani a letter with sukun on it, that's only present due to its stopping. So for example, here we have Ar-Rahman, Al-Ma'un, Al-Alim. Now, if you actually look at these words, each and every single one of them is ending with a letter that has a haraka on it. Here it's a noon with a dhamma. Here it's a noon with a fatha. Here it's a meme with a kasra. But due to the rules of recitation and due to the rules of reading Arabic, when you stop on a word, you're going to put a sukun at the end of it. But that sukun is only present due to you stopping on that word. So when you're stopping, you don't say al-ma'una, you say al-ma'un. Why? Because you're stopping on the word. So that sukun that's at the end, quote unquote, is only there due to stopping. Because in reality, it's a fatha at the end. In reality, it's a kasra at the end. In reality, it's a dhamma at the end. But I'm only stopping on a sukun due to me stopping on that word. So this is what al-mad al-arid lis-sukun is. And it can be elongated the length of 2, 4, or 6 haraka. The next thing we have is mad al-lin, which is that you have a harf lin. And we have a separate video where we explain what is a harf med and what is a harf lin. So I recommend that you go watch that video if you have not watched it. So the first condition for med al-lin is that you have a harf lin, which is followed by a sukun, which is only present due to stopping. So it's the same exact thing as the previous one. Just in this case, you have a harf lin instead of a harf med. Okay, so for example, al-bayt, khawf, al-sayf. So in all these scenarios, the only reason why there's a sukun is due to us stopping on the word. But in reality, al-bayti is the ending with a kasra. Khawfi is ending with a kasra. Sayfi is ending with a kasra. But because I'm stopping on these words, I'm putting a sukun there, and thus mad al-lin is happening. Al-bayt, khawf, al-sayf. And again, this can be 2, 4, or 6. Then finally, we have mad al-lazim, which is that you have a harf med, which is followed by a sukun, which is always present. You have a harf med, and it's followed by a sukun which is always present. So this is contrary to the previous ones, where it was followed by a sukun which is only present due to stop, which was for med al-aarid sukun and also for med al-lin. Here, the sukun is always present for med al-lazim. So you have a harf med, and it's followed by a sukun which is always present, and thus it will be elongated 6 haraka. So what are some examples of this? For example, when we say as-sakha, so we know that when you have a shadda, in reality, a shadda is there to indicate that there are two of the same letter. The first one has a sukun and the second one has a haraka, but instead of writing it out like this, the Arabs, they mix the two letters together and they put a shadda to show you that they did idgham, that they mix the two letters together because they're in the same letters. So as-sakha is originally this. So this kha here has sukun on it, and this sukun is always present. The sukun is always present. And likewise, before here we have a harf med, right? We have an alif, and the alif is preceded with a letter that has a fatha on it, so thus it's a harf med. So we have a harf med, and it's followed with what? A letter that has sukun that's always present, and thus we're going to have med al-lazim, 6 haraka. Same thing for here when we say noon, wal-qalami wama yasturun. So noon, again, noon here, we're actually saying the letter noon. And if you look at the letter noon, what you have is this, right? So the sukun that's at the end of noon is a sukun that is lazim. It's always there. It's always present. So thus, what do we have? Here we have a waw, right? And that waw has sukun on it, and it's preceded with a letter that has a dhamma on it. So this is a harf med. And that harf med is followed with what? Is followed by a letter with a sukun on it that is lazim, a sukun that's always present, and thus we have med al-lazim, so it's 6 haraka. And this is the 3 types of mudud that will be elongated 2 or more haraka, if you will, and it's caused by a sukun. Med al-lin, al-med al-aarid al-sukun, and al-med al-lazim.